So the New England Patriots played the Buffalo Bills this past Sunday. They won 16 to 10. So before I go any further, I want to point this out. The officiating in this game was not very good. I saw a few calls that I thought were kind of weak. I think I'm on both ways for the record. I think there were bad calls both ways. There were a few no calls a couple times. And that kind of seemed to be a trend this week. I saw a lot of Lions fans talking about the piss poor officiating in their game against Kansas City, and I don't know. So I guess this week just was not a good week if you were a ref. So anyway, let's talk about this game at hand. New England's defense was absolutely astonishing once again in this game. Actually, I'll go as far as to say that our defense won this game. They absolutely did. Now, I want to point this out before I talk about New England's defense. I think the Bills are legit. I think once the offense kind of finds its groove a little bit, Josh Allen gets a little bit more experienced, I think they're going to be a better team down the road. They have a very bright future. Their defense, what can I say? They played a hell of a game yesterday. They held us to 16. I really don't think this was a game where, the Pats played down at all. I think Buffalo is just, they're good. I really do think that. Anyway, let's talk more about New England's defense. Now, unfortunately, the touchdownless streak was snapped in this game. Barely at that. Josh Allen ran it in from the one. He jumped over the line, stretched the ball over the goal line, and he actually fumbled it. I don't remember who popped the ball loose, but I remember thinking that they had stopped him. But unfortunately, Josh Allen did break the plane. He also got injured in this game, so it's not good for Buffalo. I do wish him a speedy recovery. It was a really nasty hit. Yeah, so let's talk about the good here. New England's defense had 4 interceptions in this game. Devin McCourty had 1. And a little side note about Devin McCourty, I didn't know this until this past Sunday. He has an interception in every game this season. I didn't even know. If he stays on the pace that he does, which I doubt he's going to have 16 interceptions by the end of the year, but if he keeps going at a pretty decent pace and he ends up recording a lot of interceptions, you might be looking at a defensive player of the year. J.C. Jackson had 2 interceptions. He had a hell of a game yesterday. Jamie Collins recorded the game-winning interception. What a season that guy's having. I cannot stress this enough. The defense won us this game. There is no doubt in my mind. If our defense didn't play as solid as it did, we would have lost. I really do think we would have lost. Let's talk about our offense in this game because obviously it wasn't very good. Now, like I said, I think that speaks more to Buffalo's defense than anything, but nonetheless, Tom Brady did not have a very good game. I don't have his numbers at the moment, but I do know that he did not throw a touchdown at all, and he did throw a pick, a really ugly throw in the end zone. Not one of his better games. This next thing I wanna talk about, I think this is starting to look like a real problem. Stephen Gostkowski missed another PAT. This is starting to look like a real problem, and games like this are exactly why. Now, consider this. We won by 6. Buffalo only needed a touchdown and a successful PAT to win the game. If our defense hadn't stepped up the way it did, we could have lost just on that. We really could have. Now, as I said, I think I mentioned before, we did knock Josh Allen out of the game. So who knows what could have happened. But you see why I'm saying that this could be a real problem. Gostowski has to start making these PATs. We got to stop making these little mistakes, or it's going to cost us. Our schedule is only going to get tougher, and Gostowski has to make the PATs. He has to make the field goals. This can't become an ongoing thing. Despite my problems with Gostowski missing a PAT and really just the offense being, for the most part, ineffective. Although Sony Michel did have a pretty decent game. So far, he's been kind of like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. You know, 1 week he's good, 1 week he's bad. Cannot stress this enough. Defense absolutely had a field day. And, yeah, go Pats.